So here I am. When Carol's done, she can unmute herself and the two of us will work at answering your questions. So I think we're almost right there. I think it's 12 o'clock. Yep, 12 o'clock. Let me turn my phone to not ring. And I think we're ready to say good day, everyone. Good afternoon, wherever you're at. Welcome to TNT. My name is Laura Bewer, and I am the founder of Coach Me Laura. I am also the creator of the Notary Symposium, an annual event by notaries for notaries. This year it'll be November 6th coming up. And then I'm a working notary like the rest of you for my own business At Your Service Mobile Notary. And today I have with me Carol. I'll wait because she's trying to answer somebody first before I pass the mic to her. But I do want to talk about real briefly, I had one of those days that I hear about from my colleagues. And that day started on time. I was prepared. Everything was good. And when I get 30 minutes away from there, somebody's beeping, I don't know who, I realized I don't have my documents with me. Now, it wasn't a loan signing. It was a single 7-page document, right? And I noticed that the freeway going there was quick, but it was all backed up going the other way. So I thought, okay, be resourceful. What could I do? Let me hit a little shipping center because I have it electronically and I'll just reprint it, right? Well, this little town called Ripon, anybody in California might know of it. They don't have shipping centers. They just don't have, they don't have FedEx, they don't have anything. So I'm like, okay, Manteca's the next one up, 15 minutes. I'm traveling to get there. In the meantime, I get a hold of my brother who lives in that town and he says, oh, come to my store. I've got a printer. Okay, great. I get off the freeway. There's road work going on the back roads to get back down to Ripon. Oh my God. I almost am at my brother's store and my get gas light comes on. I'm thinking, holy crap. So I get it printed and I rush over back to the place and the guy's still sitting there. Thank God, he gave me some grace and space to get to him. And I get it taken care of. I think, okay, life is beautiful. I had to have 2 witnesses. So I said, you know what, 2 witnesses who I was dragging around town with me, let me buy you a drink. It was a Starbucks. So I bought them, their, venti, whatever they got, looked delicious. And then I had to take them home. And then I remembered, oh my God, I have another appointment behind this appointment. So I hauled and I got there and I updated them and got it done and thought, okay, I think I can relax. I have time to get home for my next appointment. And what happens? The car won't start. I'm stuck at a mobile home park, and my Prius won't start. It says that the 12-volt battery is low. I'm like, seriously? I can't believe this is happening. So now I got to call the next appointment and say, look, I think I'm going to be 20, 30 minutes late. I got to let the car sit here. Maybe it's overheated. I don't know what's wrong. And about 10 minutes later, it did start. So I'm on my way home, rushing to take care of it. I thought I had pre-sent the documents to this person for a coaching appointment. I did not. So as soon as I got home, I had to get on that. I mean, it continues on. The day does not get better. And it ran like this, I'd say till 7, 8 o'clock, my last appointment last night. And so what were the lessons that, we learn from these kind of days? One is, I know I should have gassed my car the night before. I knew that I needed time for that and I had planned for that. I was going to do it. And then I got distracted on a call and it didn't get done. Another lesson was not to be distracted. When my witnesses came over, I was talking to them, telling them what was going to happen, showed them the document we were going to take care of, put it in my calendar, and then dropped the calendar on the counter instead of keeping it in my arms. And I cannot be distracted. I need to make sure I check when I get in the car, I've got my documents with me. So there were different lessons throughout the day, but I will tell you this, I am a persistent notary and I did not let all these things get in my way. And I made every appointment all the way, no matter how long it took me to get through my day, until 8 o'clock last night. Now I was tired. I didn't go for my walk. I made some quick dinner for my husband and said, you know what? I'm getting in pajamas. I'm done. I don't care if it's only 8 o'clock. It was over. So notaries, and what's really hysterical about this whole thing is that Bill and I just recorded a video for the NNA conference coming up about, you know, being resourceful, about planning your day, about making sure you can do all these things so that you can make it through the day. And thank goodness I did have some buffers in there, and that I ate them up and then some. But in any case, I'm glad today is a new day. And today's a much better day. And I'm so happy to be with all of you. But I just wanted to be transparent to say, you know, it happens to the best of us, right? You know, well-laid plans, buffers, didn't matter. It can happen to any of us. So that was my day yesterday. And what I have to say is there used to be a lot of those. There's not very many of those now. My days run much more smoothly than that. But it was a good laugh. So let's open it up. Oh, before I open it up, Carol, you're off the phone. Can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, this is Carol. I'm the founder and owner of Notary to Pro, retired escrow manager, 14 years as a signing agent, and I created my course in 2009. And we love doing it, and I'm going to continue to do it for a long time. And I will say I've dealt with thousands and thousands of notaries, and I forgive myself. I was on a mentoring call that she had needed help. If you're at this long enough, you're going to experience just about everything there is. I'll never forget the first time that my husband were going to a long distance signing, and of course we forgot the documents. There's just nothing that doesn't happen to you eventually, both good and bad. But I'm glad to be here today. I kind of cleared my calendar until somebody got her first signing today, a split signing, and yeah, so real nervous.
Hey, all right. That is good news. It's always good to hear when somebody's getting that first signing. All right, Carol, I'm glad you're with me because we don't have Bill today. So it's just you and me, girl.
Oh, okay, good.
We're going to bring it. So we're going to start with Patrick. Patrick Manning, would you please introduce yourself and what state you're in? And let's start with your question.
Hello, hello. How's everybody doing today?
Fantastic.
So just a face to the name. I'm signed up under you with Phil as well for Legal Shield, and took Carol's class, and going through some other training courses as well with Bill. I've got a two-part question for you. My first is the compliance affidavit. I've noticed lately.
It says start video.
Who's talking here? I got to figure out who is. Please stay in mute unless it is your turn. I'd really appreciate that.
So the compliance agreement recently, I noticed that there's 2 notaries on the single compliance agreement, as far as one being an acknowledgement and the other being a jurat. Have you new, or is that just happened to be new with my recent appointments? And I've got one other question as well.
All right, so 2 compliant, and what's?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm in Kansas and Missouri, actually. I'm in Kansas and also dual commission in Missouri.
So first of all, many notaries are not aware that you may notarize a single signature 2 different ways. All right, so you could use an acknowledgement and you can use a jurat. So there are some states that actually have a hybrid certificate that include both in the one certificate. And for those of us who can't utilize that, we can attach an acknowledgement and we can attach a jurat to the same signature. So the answer is yes, it is possible. Whether it's new for this compliance agreement, it could be the complaint, not jurats, or contacting. So we never know when things are happening. So what do we always do? We always listen to the document. I love how Carol tells us that. We always pay attention to what is it asking me to do those steps. Okay.
Great, and I did that as well. Thank you. I did sign them both. It was just kind of, the first time caught me off guard.
Yeah.
But the other one last night, I was like, well, okay, this is the second time around. And then my other question I have for you is about juniors and senior. What do you call that? Suffixes on names, as it's on the ID versus the document, or not on the ID and is on the documents, or vice versa. So I just want to hear your input on that.
Okay, I will give you some input, but I'd also like Carol to add hers. I am pretty tight with suffixes because there's issues between the generations, and there's either accidental or intentional fraud that goes on. So if I see juniors on the document, he's gonna have to show me photo ID that has junior. That's just the bottom line. Or he's gonna have to get two credible witnesses that are gonna swear to me that they're willing to go to prison if he's not a junior. So that's how it is for me. The same thing, the third, senior can be a little bit different in that you're not a senior till you become a senior, right? So you're born a junior, but you become a senior, and that may not be. So now I'm going to look at some other things. Is this guy in his 50s or 60s where it's likely, you know, he would have children that would then make him a senior? I'd ask, why is it not on his ID? I'd ask, do you have something else that you use that senior on? That might help me because it's not going to be on the birth certificate. If it's not on his driver's license, he may not have it. Well, how did they get it? Why would it be? I'm going to have a conversation to see if this is something I can resolve, or if we're going to need credible witnesses, or we are going to need to have a conversation with the hiring company. Carol?
I concur, absolutely. I had a situation one time where actually the son was trying to do a refi, and it was on his father's property. And you have to, with the second, the third, and junior and the senior, you need to have absolute proof that they are who they say they are. And I talk about the licenses a lot. We forget this fundamental basics of being a notary is identification. That is the crux of our business.
Yeah.
We offer other services, but the main thing is identity. And when you're taking the driver's license, and I repeat myself a lot because it's important, you want to take that driver's license and you don't want to just write down the number in your journal. You want to look at the description. You want to see the age. Does the age fit? Does the height fit? Are they 5'8" and it says 6'4" on the license? This is very important, and things like the junior senior is extremely important. And I want to say something, Patrick, hi. We've never seen each.
Yeah, I've been around a few years. This is my 5th year,
Yes,
but
you have.
it's an interesting conversation if you think about it, because like you said, Laura, when you're, let's see, how you can say this, when the first one is born, it's a nothing. It's just a Patrick Manning. When I have a son, I would name him Junior. That means I become a senior. What happens when my son has a junior? Does he become a senior? I don't know. It's just confusing, but it was worth the conversation.
It is, and I'm not going to comment on that because I'm not quite sure how that changes.
Exactly. Have a good day. I'm listening in.
All right, thanks. All right. Next, we've got Rosetta. Is it Easley? Can you unmute, Rosetta? I see you're there.
Down at the bottom left, Rosella.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
There we go.
Good job, Rosetta.
Hi, everyone.
Hi. Tell us who you are and what state you're from.
I am Rosetta Easley from Wilmington, Delaware. I've got commissioned in September of 2020. I haven't done any loan signings as yet. I'm doing a mentorship class with a local person here in Wilmington, Delaware. She's really awesome with helping me getting all the scary bugs out of my stomach, for one thing, for that. But I have done quite a few general notary work, and it seems like that's where I'm leaning towards, the general notary work. So Ms. Laura, I would definitely want to get be a part of your coaching, or get some of your your training on that when I'm ready for that.
Mhm.
But also, my question was basically about the NNA, the conference that's coming up. I registered for that, and that's coming up. I think, what is it, June 7th and 8th, and it says it's 2
Correct.
days.
Yes.
So I still work full time at night, in the emergency room from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. So I do 12-hour shifts, and I am to work one of those days. So I was just wondering, if signing up, if I miss one of those days, would I be able to get the full capacity of everything for the 2 days if I'm not able to be on that Zoom or whatever? Because I want to be able to make sure I get everything included, to hear everything.
Right. Yeah, they'll be recorded. So you should be able to go back and watch anything. They're also taking pieces. If somebody does not sign up, they cannot get it on YouTube. What they can get is like a 10-minute piece, a snippet of what the workshop's about on YouTube. But the full recordings will only be accessible to those who signed up and paid the $59.
Okay. Okay, that's what I was worried about, because I wanted to be able to be there. I know one of those days, as I said, I have to work, and I just want to make sure I get the full everything for those 2 days.
All right. Well, you will. Thanks for
Okay.
asking.
Thank you so much.
All right. You're welcome. The next one I have is Michelle Klempner in Florida.
Hi, guys. Thank you for taking my question. It's about apostille work. So I've been doing apostille work for quite a few years. I have, but not as a facilitator, just like behind the office desk. I just celebrated my 6th consecutive commission here in the state of Florida. And I pride myself in being a by the book notary, and people roll their eyes when I say that, but I haven't had problems, and I'd like to keep it that way. So the situation with the apostille was that I was not obviously notarizing the documents. I got the documents in Miami, and I have a facilitator who does in-person apostilles for me in Tallahassee. So I saw the notarization, and we have 9 elements in Florida.
Right.
And sorry?
Right. Go on.
Oh, yeah. So we have 9 elements, and several of them are missing, which is very common. And I find that veteran notaries get offended when you say to them, hey, you don't have your remote online, appeared by physical presence or online notarization. Yeah, whatever. So it was missing a couple, including the printed name of the notary.
Right.
And I didn't really know what to do. Was I supposed to say something? And I mean, this document is going directly to the Secretary of State in the Capitol. So if anyone was going to notice that there was something missing, it might have been there.
Right. Yeah. So
What would you do?
absolutely. If you know there's a problem, why would you waste the customer's time and money? Go back
Yeah.
to the notary or to the customer if you don't have contact with that notary, and let them know the notarization is missing some elements. It will be rejected by our Secretary of State. It must be corrected. It is not okay for you to correct another notary certificate.
No. So
Right.
I brought a loose
Go back.
certificate with me because I picked up the documents in person, and I
Sure.
brought a loose certificate. And I just said to her, just to be on the safe side, I mean, this was a $500 job for me. I didn't want it to go downhill either. You know what I mean? So I said to her, would you mind making the corrections and attaching the certificate? And she wasn't thrilled about it, but she ended up doing it. So I was just curious if,
Absolutely every time.
Okay. Yeah.
I do a lot of apostille work as well.
Mhm.
And I've handled it when a different notary did the notarization. And the first thing I do is check that they do that right. Because the Secretary of State is going to look at that certificate, verify if it's correct. And they will, probably the number 1 cause of rejections is the notary. What's that called? So if we can stop that, that's what we want to do.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for asking, Michelle. All right. How about Jen at Monterey Bay Notary? Hi, Jen.
Hi, Laura. Nice to see you again. I have 2 questions. One deals with Mylar signings. I'm in the state of California. I do frequent real estate signings here that are just partial. They're not complete loan signing packages. I work with a group that's local that requires my services fairly frequently. We do Mylar signings. I did one just the other day and it was sent back for something other than notary, but there was a note attached saying that it does not need to include a separate notarial certificate. It was my understanding that I needed to include the certificate because that's where my seal is, since I cannot place a seal on the Mylar itself. Can you tell me what your understanding is for that?
So I was having a hard time really understanding you at first. It wasn't loud enough, but I think you said the document was a Mylar map. And
Correct.
actually you don't add a certificate to that. What you do is you use a special pen that works on the Mylar and you print out the information with that pen. And there should have been wording for you there to take care of that rather than adding something to it. And so you would have rejected the document and say, look, you need to get that wording on here. And you don't use your seal of office. You fill out that just the pieces that you do. Somebody has to sign it. And then you include your seal number and the expiration date. I can't think of or your county of principal residence. So that's the appropriate way to handle the Mylar.
Okay, all that was there. I just didn't know if the certificate was necessary. So for
No.
California, it's not. Okay, that's great. Then the second question I have is regarding someone writing up their own affidavit and placing notarial language on it for the certificate. I didn't use that language because it wasn't complete. It wasn't the standard for California, and I just attached my own. But it got me wondering about people writing up their own affidavits and wondering if there are any issues I should be looking for with those.
Well, the affidavit or statement itself isn't an issue for you because it's not our business, right? That's whatever they write is what they write. I'm looking for a signature,
Okay,
right? So that's really all I'm looking for. And if they created their own certificate, I'd be reading it carefully because
Yeah.
a lot of times they're missing something and I would attach my own instead.
right, which is what I did. Great,
Yeah.
that was it. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you very much. Looks like I have Yesenia up next.
Did that work? Am
There
I
you go.
unmuted?
Yesenia, you're there.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everybody. Buenas tardes. So a few quick things. First of all, finally finished my first apostille. It came in the mail yesterday. They came and picked it up. I got paid. Yay.
Yay.
Wanted to share that real fast. And then one question. If you are a real estate agent and you now have your notary commission, can you do loan signing documents also? In California? I should have mentioned, sorry.
Carol, could you help her? My dogs are going crazy.
I'm sorry, go ahead. Could you repeat yourself?
Yes, in
I'm sorry.
California, if you have your notary commission and you are also a real estate agent, can you do loan signing docs?
For other people, yeah, you can't be involved in your own transactions.
Right, I didn't sell the house, I didn't, in my.
Right, as long as you
didn't-
have no beneficial financial, benefit from it, you're able to handle the signing.
Okay, great, because there was a discussion with a few other notaries and the way they understood that they couldn't. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Okay, and then I think I know the answer to this, but my friend asked me last night because she knows I get into the TNT. So she was looking over a revocable trust for her parents who are elderly. She was just trying to get everything together for them. She noticed that they did not sign the revocable trust, but yet there's an attached acknowledgement with the notary's signature and stamp. Yeah, that's what I said. I couldn't believe it. She had to send me pictures because she's in San Francisco and there's a distance. So I was like, is it the original? And she went through everything. She goes, yeah, everything's original signature. Like there's initials on all the pages. The attorney, in theory, that
I would suggest that she takes it back to.
takes it
sorry,
back where?
Go ahead. No, I was gonna
Oh.
say, I would suggest that they take it someplace and have it re-signed and notarized.
Current. Okay, the problem is this revocable trust was done in theory 21 years ago.
They need to
And-
redo that.
Okay, but they have a grant deed that specifies this trust as well. And so I'm not sure if I should advise her to seek legal, to find out if it's valid or not because of the grant deed.
Actually, I think that was probably the best thing you could come up with, is get them to have legal advice.
Okay,
If
yeah,
it's just a
because,
matter of the signature not being notarized, then I would suggest that they could take it and re-sign it and have it re-notarized. But now you're talking about other things coming into it. So you might be better off to just tell them to seek advice from an attorney.
yeah, because I'm pretty sure the notary back then, well, if not, we were gonna try to see if we could find the commission to narrow down who the notary was. But okay, thank you. That was it.
Matt, you're pretty savvy. What do you think?
Call a lawyer immediately.
Yeah,
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Carol.
oh, you're welcome.
Thanks, Yesenia. All right, Apollonia. I see you're there. Go ahead and unmute.
Hi, how are you? Good
Hey.
afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you so much for taking my question. My name is Apollonia Barksdale. I'm a notary in Illinois. My question is for you, Laura. I am a stickler about names. And last week on our TNT call, you did make a brief comment about name variations. And the last signing that I had, I ended up asking to be unassigned because I was not comfortable with proceeding with the signing because the signer had a different name than what was on his state ID, and I'm sorry, his driver's license and passport. And so the name variance was, his first name legally is Lawrence, but on all of the documents, including, this was for a refinance of a primary residence, all of the documents said Larry. I get it that nicknames, I get the nickname thing, but I think for me, I'm so literal that if your ID says Lawrence and your passport says Lawrence, then I did not feel comfortable with notarizing any of your documents where your name was listed that I was notarizing as Larry. I did call my Secretary of State, and I was very surprised at the response that I received. However, she ended up, after being transferred to a senior associate, I was instructed to just simply write in the name on the ID. But initially what I kept getting was, whatever you're comfortable with doing. And I said, no, this is not about me. I want to do what you told me that I'm supposed to do as a commissioned notary. And they kept saying, well, if you're not comfortable with doing that, you don't have to do it. No, I'm asking you, what am I supposed to do? What does the law say? What do you say? What does it say that I'm supposed to do with regards to IDs in the name variant? And so I get that everybody assumed that James is Jim, Robert is Bob. I get that. But when we're talking about legal documents, and if I had to notarize your signature and the name on the signature line says Lawrence, your name on your ID says Lawrence, but the name on the signature lines on everything says Larry.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do with that?
Okay, Apollonia, two things, and then I'll let Carol add her 2 cents as well. One is, whether it's a affidavit or it's a loan document, isn't making the difference about whether I would accept Larry versus Lawrence. So I think there's a little bit too much weight given for this kind of variation. Number one.
Okay.
Number two, the Secretary of State is not going to tell you what to do because the law does not tell you what to do. The law says not a name match. That's not what it says. It says reasonable reliance upon the evidence that's provided to the notary. Is it reasonable for you to believe the guy standing in front of you is the same guy as this ID that's named in the document? So how
Okay.
do I feel comfortable with that? Well, one, I feel comfortable if his picture looks like him. Another thing makes me comfortable. I looked at the physical description to say it's a man in front of me. Okay, I see that. He's 6 foot. He's taller than me. I see that. Says he has blue eyes. He still does. Right. These are things that I can also, I might ask, tell me the zip code on your ID. What's your birth date on your ID? So I use the ID heavily to help confirm that it is this guy. If that's not enough, sometimes I'll say, show me what's in your wallet. That is my favorite phrase. If he goes by Larry often, I bet he has credit cards in Larry. He might have a library card in Larry, who knows? But he might have something else in his wallet to back up his claim that he goes by Larry. Right. And that was the one that from last week, it was Tony and Anthony. And all his credit cards said Tony. So I think these are things you can do. And then ultimately, you do get to make the decision. You can choose not to do it. I'm not comfortable. But here's what I'm going to tell you. If you don't get comfortable with how you can confirm, you're going to lose jobs.
Gotcha. Okay.
Now, Carol, do you have something you'd like to add?
I'm going to reiterate what I say every week. Identification is everything. It will tell you exactly what to do. So it's exactly what Laura said.
Unmute, my dogs finally be quiet. I think every notary struggles with this. Apollonia, your question is asked of me personally when I have those 15-minute calls. It's asked of me in coaching sessions. The single most important thing we do is identify it's the right guy signing the document. Everything comes after that. So that's the first thing. And that's why I understand how important this is to you to feel comfortable about it. So how can you get comfortable? And I want you to think about all the other resources that can support, and we might call that supplementary evidence. More is better, right? Ultimately, if you feel like it's not enough, then can you do a credible witness? If your state doesn't facilitate that in a way that you could do it for loan signing, or the lender doesn't give permission, then your bottom line can be, I'm just not the notary for you. And they'll get another notary who's more comfortable with it, which is what happened last week.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thanks. I'm sorry, guys. Life at home, the dogs that keep going crazy. My next person, Randy. Hey, Randy, welcome back. If you could unmute yourself. Are you still there? Because I see your name.
Sorry about that. I'm here.
Oh, there you go.
So on the issue of IDs, which seems to be a popular topic today, going the opposite direction, I'm in Washington, by the way. I don't wear an ID badge in Washington. And a few times people have asked to see my ID, so I get my ID out of my wallet and show them my driver's license. I had a signing yesterday with an older couple that owned several rental properties, and they happened to be selling one of their properties. And he asked for my ID, so I pulled it out and I kind of held it, showed it to him. And then he said, "Oh, well, can I see it?" So then he went to grab it, so I let him grab it. He then went ahead and laid it down and wrote down my name, address, driver's license number on a piece of paper, so he had it for his records. I didn't want to put him off too much, but I said, just out of curiosity, why do you want all of my information? And he goes, "Oh, well, just for legal purposes." So I guess my question being, how would you guys handle that situation? Or do you suggest having some kind of ID badge made?
I can respond to that.
Yeah, Carol, could you do that, please? Thank you.
I sure can. I would not do that. I would not hand my license or give information from my driver's license to anyone. What you can do is carry a copy of your notary commission. You can make a small. We took a laminated picture of it. And if anybody ever asked, even though we got their documents, we're an elderly couple standing there with their documents on their porch, but it did happen to us once where this person insisted on the driver's license and I wouldn't do it. But we carry a copy of our commission with us, laminate it. It was there if anybody wanted to question if we were legitimate or not. It was so easy. Pull it out. That was it. Never give that information to anybody.
All
Are
right.
you there?
Yeah, Carol, thanks. And you know what? I would not either. I have on occasion held it, but even now I don't do that anymore. I did what Carol says, and that is I laminated a color copy of my commission. It's in my notary bag. And when someone wants proof that I'm the notary, I pull that out and say, here's my name. It's right on here. You want my commission information? It's on my stamp as well. And they can go with that. And that's actually the proof I'm required at a jail or prison as well, is I have to bring my commission with me to prove that. And, but no, I would not let them take my information. Randy?
Thank you. Yes, thank you. And then if I can ask a follow-up question. I've had people in the past ask for a copy of my stamp on something as proof of kind of who I am or what my ID number, what my commission number is. And I've told them I can't do that, but I can write down my information. Is that okay to, I'm assuming that's okay, but I'm
Are
not.
these companies that are asking you to put a stamp to something, even though it's not for notarization?
No, like signers. I've had signers ask me in the past of, oh, can you just put your stamp on this blank piece, on this piece of paper on something? And I
No,
told them, no, I'm not allowed to by the state, but technically would I be allowed to and then like exit out?
No, don't stamp it, don't exit out. It's already on the stamp. Your name's there, your county's there, your number's there. If they want to look you up, they can go right to the Secretary of State's office to get your information if you have to be tracked down. But I wouldn't stamp it and then cross it out. They've got your stamp on the documents you notarized. If not, they can take a picture of one of those documents you notarized and they'll have it on there then.
Okay, that's what was my next question, because I'm not stamping anything that the customer is keeping, that the signer is keeping.
All right, let them take a picture
Okay,
of one of the documents, one of your certificates, and then they'd have that information.
okay, thank you.
I'd like to add something to this also, because a lot of the documents that we get have from some lenders have paperwork that asks you to stamp the document, although there's no signatures to notarize, and you cannot do that. You shouldn't be intimidated by any lenders that are asking you that.
Right.
So you always want to either attach a note. I used to have stickies for things like that, that says that it's illegal for me to apply my stamp or my seal to a document that I have not notarized and doesn't require notarization, because they can't insist that you do that. And I've been threatened. I have been threatened over the years to apply my seal where it was not required.
Thanks, Carol, for stating that, because I think that's really important for notaries to remember that we are notarizing signatures. And if there's no signature, then we shouldn't be using our stamp. And companies, whether they're title companies or loan companies, may or may not know anything about the specifics of notary statutes that indicate the stamp is only appropriate for use for notarization. And so one of the documents I've seen recently is an eligibility certificate. If you've seen that, all they want, it's for the county recorder's office, and they're asking you to fill out all the pieces of information on your stamp so that if for some reason they can't scan your stamp, it doesn't have to be rejected. That certificate will go with that document and be recorded with it. So if you see that, you're not notarizing anything, you're just filling out that information. All right, admin mobile.
Hi, Laura.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Hi, Laura. Hi, Grandma Carol. How you doing over there?
Go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us your state.
Yes, ma'am. My name is Katrina Caldwell with Admin Mobile. I'm in the state of Texas. And I have a quick, what would you do, Laura? I'm interested to know what you would do in this situation. So this morning, I got an email saying that one of the clients that I performed general notary work for disputed my chart, like disputed their fee. So I did general notary work for this person. I used Square. The person card was swiped and he signed for the job. And on the email, it said that I guess he claimed fraud because I had a card swipe and not a chip reader where he inserts the chip. But regardless, he got the service. So my question to you is, I've already went to the bank and, tried to dispute it back, but would you call that customer right now? I've been a bulk of the day trying to calm myself down, like the audacity, but would you call that individual and say, hey, did you, forget that my business name was Admin Mobile is the reason why you disputed? Or because I followed up and he said that he gave me a 5-star review. There was nothing wrong with his documents. I have no idea why he's reneged on the payment.
And it happened to me. It's been a long time, probably in my first year of using Square. So we're talking quite some time ago. And the person said that she doesn't remember ever meeting with me. I never notarized anything for her. And what I did is I took the elements out of my journal for that particular notarization, and I reported it back to Square because they sent me the notification and said it was on this date at this time. This was the address, which was her work address. That's where I met her. This was the name of the document. This is the notarial act I performed. I do have her signature and her thumbprint in my journal. Do you know what? In about 10 minutes, she let it go. That was it. She just forgot. It was like, oh, yeah, that's right. She just forgot. How can you forget? The name of my business says, Notary. So I didn't have to go further. But if I had to go further and it's general work, yeah, I might call them back, just as I would if somebody bounced a check. I'd call that person and let them know, hey, is there a problem? I thought everything was good. What's happening? Did you not recognize the name of my company? Because, the card charge is being rejected. So yeah, I would. Carol,
okay.
Do you have anything to add?
Same.
Okay. Matt, you do a lot of mobile work. Have you ever had this issue?
I have had a card disputed before, and I did the same thing. I said, look, I've got a journal entry here and I'm willing to prove it if you want to play ball. And as soon as they find that out, it's over. Yeah.
Well, on the Square thing, it made it seem like it said that the refund was given in favor of the client and that it was something I couldn't refute. That's why I went to Chase this morning. I'm refuting it with my personal bank to try to get them to.
Yeah, I would call him and find out what, help me understand. I perform service. I didn't think there was a problem. Is there a problem? Is there something I need to do to fix? I would reach out. You're never going to know if you don't reach out to this customer.
Okay, let me cool down for a little bit longer and then I'll call him. Thank you, Aunt Laura.
You're welcome. All right, Matt, stay. Oh, you're already muted, but unmute.
Unmuted. Matt from the California League of Independent Notaries here, guys, and wanted to give you a couple of updates on the informational briefing we held last week in regards to remote online notarization. First off, I want to apologize because I know that a lot of you simply could not get into the Zoom room, and that was because 500 people showed up like that, and then there were more than 1,000 waiting to get in. But the good news is that it was recorded, and you can view it on the California Secretary of State's Facebook page, and you can also view it on their YouTube page. And it's a really interesting chat. We heard from Lori Ham, who is the Notary Public Director in Montana, and her experience with rolling out RON in the state of Montana. We heard from some technology companies. We heard from some land title companies. And of course, we heard from me and representing practitioners. And we have a deal on the table. However, the bill that we have active on the floor this year has passed legislative deadlines to get out of committee, so it will be there for the foreseeable future. And if it's going to go forward, we'll know in January. But between now and then, there's a lot of details to work out. And if you're interested in finding out what those details are, you should watch the recording of the informational briefing. Feel free to reach out and send me any questions, but I just wanted to let everyone know that it's available for replay.
Thank you, Matt. Yeah, it was interesting. I saw the replay. I signed in at 3 o'clock, 30 minutes ahead, and couldn't get in. After about 20 minutes after the hour, or almost 3:30, I gave up. And I just waited for the replay.
The replay has already been viewed like 2,200 times. So it's a big issue here.
It is. And I'm so glad that, we as practitioners have a seat at the table, thanks to you, Matt, so that they hear, what our concerns are, and that when we pass legislation, and sooner or later we will, that it is something that works not only for the consumers, but the notaries as well, and that we don't lose the protections for the consumers at the cost, for convenience. All right, thank you for updating us on that. And
hey, Laura, can we ask Matt to put a link to the replay in the chat?
oh, Matt, could you do that? Thank you.
Good idea.
All right, Kristen.
Hey, Laura. I was on this morning with Bill and had a question there that's probably more appropriate for here. So I'm just going to pull that up.
Okay.
If I was watching your Laura Buer presents the estate and trust video, and it talks about that representative capacity, and it's listed in the acknowledgement. And I'm wondering, do you cross that out, or do you just attach a new one if that's showing up in a loan package?
So for California notaries, we would replace it. That's what our instructions are. We replace it with our own. The only thing that the statutes tell us to modify is the venue. There's a specific instruction that tells us to modify the venue when it's not right. There's nothing to tell us how to correct a certificate the right way. So if it's got representative capacity where the notary is certifying it, and that's really more advanced work, meaning that representative capacity could be in the certificate, and it could be okay if it is not the notary who's making the certification. So the wording might be, Joe Signer, who claimed to be the trustee of the trust, or Joe Signer, who took an oath and swore he was the trustee. In those cases, the wording indicates the signer made that claim, not the notary. So you really want to read the wording of the certificate carefully. If it's just Joe Signer, comma, trustee, that's a problem. Okay?
Yep, thanks.
All right, thank you. All right, Monica.
Hello, Carol and Laura and everyone. Thank you for taking my call. My question is for you, Laura. I know you're doing the Georgia training, and I wanted to know, one, is it still available for registration? Is it still open? And two, if it is still open for registration, will there be a replay available? Because I won't be able to make it.
No, this one's going to be live only, so don't sign up for it if you can't be there.
Okay, that was my question. Thank you.
Thank you. Monica, Mary Ann. You're not unmuted.
There we go.
There you go, Mary Ann. Try again.
I said, hi, everybody. Nice to be here finally live.
Yeah.
I'm Mary Ann in Pennsylvania. I'm in Berwick, Pennsylvania. So up here in valleys and mountains and combinations of both. I've been doing mostly loan signings, and I really haven't had a problem getting paid. But it's looking like I've got two companies now that I'm going to have an issue with. What is the most gracious way to handle that outside of invoicing, or what steps
following up with a company that's not paying for work that's been completed.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, I check to make sure I'm not following up too soon, that it's within the agreed time frame.
Yeah.
Second of all, I do my follow-ups in writing, and they get 3 chances.
Okay.
The first one is, I see this, the status of this assignment is open or unpaid. I cannot find anything to support payment. Would you please check your files and either confirm that a check has been cut? And if so, what would be the date, the check number, and the amount? And if not, when may I expect it? So that's one of the communications. Another communication after that would be I'm following up on my original follow-up for payment. And again, I would indicate I don't appear to have any payment. Would you please verify the status on your end? And please communicate back to me what that is, because I haven't heard from them. The third one is, I love doing the work for you. There seems to be an issue with the payment, and I've been communicating about that. Now I need to move it along and to my attorney. Thank you. So then I have Legal Shield, and guess what they do for me? They write me a demand letter, boom. And you know what? I get a check usually like that. And when I have to chase money from somebody like that, they are no longer on my acceptable list of vendors to work for. Once I get paid, they're off. And I don't work for them anymore.
Yeah. I've got one at 60 and one at 45. And I've done the initial follow-ups.
Yeah.
And usually that has done the trick, but
here's the thing, is that we're small fish to them. And
Right.
they're thinking, what are you going to hire an attorney for $45 or for
Exactly.
$60 or for $100? It's going to cost you $200 or $300 to get somebody to do something for you. So I don't think they feel very threatened by us. But once they get that demand letter that has a whole bunch of attorneys at the top, man, they respond. And I've only had to do that. In my 17 years, I've done it 3 times. And all 3 times I got my money, all of it, and very quickly.
I'd like to add something to it too.
Sure,
If you've got people that you work with on a regular basis and it starts to happen, something that looks like bad, a good thing to do is when you call them is to say, look, something has gone, it could be that that something's fallen through the cracks, that a payment has been sent and I'm not aware of it, I've made a mistake or something, but can you double check and go to it that way rather than going to them on the offensive. You haven't paid me, it's past due, blah, blah, blah. And just approach it that way. It's very important, I think. You are going to run into those companies over your lifetime that are just bad people. I lost $2,000 one year on a company that that's just started hiring me like crazy, one signing after another. And at the end of the time, and $2,000 to us back then was a lot of money.
well, that's huge.
It was huge. It really was. It was devastating.
For those of us starting out, it's huge.
Yeah, but yeah, I think when you first approach them, if this is a company that you've been working with, especially, something could have fallen through my crack.
That's the initial has been nice. Like our mail has been horrible, that kind of stuff. But now we're at 60 and 45 days and no responses.
Right. And that's what really gets me. Carol, you're muted. That's what really gets me is when they don't respond. If they respond to me to say, oh my gosh, you know what, something's been going on here. We're sorry. We changed over bookkeeping systems. I mean, things happen. But all they have to do is respond to me. I can give them the grace and the space for a little more time. If they say, look, it's going to be 2 more weeks, I can live with that. It's when they don't respond that really bugs me
completely
on it. Yeah. So yeah, I agree with Carol. We always start out with, it could be my oversight, help me.
Yeah.
Then the second time is, look, I followed up and I'm still trying to reconcile this, not quite sure what's happening. But the third time, I'm done playing nice. They need to know you got to pay me.
Okay, so 3 strikes, basically.
And Legal Shield is worth every penny.
It is.
And that's
I paid. I have more back.
I have a bunch of friends that are lawyers that would write me a letter if I need it.
There you go. So Marianne, after on the 3rd, you know what your next step is.
I'm meeting with one of them on Friday. So.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Bernice.
Oh, hold on.
Our pictures keep moving around. All right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you, Bernice. Go ahead.
Good. Thank you. Okay, I have a quick question. And thank you very much for taking my call. I'm doing that one thing that we shouldn't be doing, driving and listening to you guys. But a question came up after something that you said. When filling out, okay, I know that we can't add our seal just to a blank piece of paper. In loan documents, you know, sometimes you do have to fill out that certification that you did witness the person, and they want you to write your name, your location of the county that you work in, your telephone number, and your seal number and the expiration date.
Yeah, I don't have a
Can
problem
we
with
put,
doing that.
it's my understanding that I can do everything except put my seal on it. Is that correct or incorrect?
Yeah, that's correct. You can fill out the information, just don't put your stamp.
No, but what about writing your notary number on there?
That's not a problem. It's all over the package. They've already got it.
I'm
That's
sorry.
okay.
I didn't hear what you said. I'm sorry.
I said your stamp is all over the place in the package. They have it.
Right.
So that's okay. Just don't put your stamp.
Got it. Okay, that was just my quick question. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Bernice.
Take care.
All right, LaTanya.
Hello.
There you
I
are.
didn't think you guys were going to get to me. I joined in late.
I'm almost,
yes.
got a few minutes. Go ahead.
Yes. So I have, I guess it's not really a question, it's just like a share. One, I'm looking forward to the training. I believe it's tomorrow, Bill, with the LinkedIn. I actually had someone reach out to me today on LinkedIn from Old Republic. So if you guys are not on LinkedIn, I definitely recommend getting on there because I'm seeing the network aspect of that. And today I had like a little, I guess it wasn't a strange situation. I recently signed up with a title company and I went in today for a mock signing. And when we were doing the mock signing, he let me know that I missed some signatures, but the signatures that he said I missed, it was like for the settlement officer. I'm like, well, as a notary, we normally don't sign as a settlement officer. But I guess if I'm working directly from a title company, I would take their orders. But have you ever signed as a settlement officer or settlement agent?
Never, because I'm not a settlement officer. That's not my role. Carol?
Yeah, that's what I assumed as well. They were like, you know, he was the guy who I did the training with, he was an actual notary signing agent. Now he works in-house with them. And they said, when you do the package with them, you sign as the actual settlement agent. And I'm like, you know, that's the first for me.
You're not doing the settlement.
Oh,
so you wouldn't sign as a settlement agent?
No, the settlement agent is the one that balances the file, handles the final recording of the documents, all of that. You are always the signing agent.
Okay, yeah, that was the first for me as well. So I was wondering if it's something that I missed along the way. Like, is this how they, when you work direct, is that something that they do? But okay, good to hear that I didn't miss something.
You're not alone. I get that question all the time from my newbies. They'll call and with different documents, and they're not the closing agent, they're not the settlement agent, they're not the extra officer, officer. They're the signing agent, notary signing agent, period.
Okay, good. And then one last thing too, which was funny, because I know we discussed this on here as well. I think I asked a question about the 1003. I know they're doing away with it, but I didn't have him sign the top portion of the page because it was one borrower. I have instructions from one particular title company that says don't sign. And he was like, oh, you missed the signature. So then we started going back and forth, like, but yeah, so it's definitely, you have to go by, the instructions, because some title companies don't want that signed and some do, but hopefully we won't see that form anymore. So, soon, since the new one is replacing it. But yeah, I found that, a little funny as well.
Yeah,
the lenders, for years, we've been fighting that. I'm so happy that they changed that 1003 because you do what you're not supposed, you do what you're supposed to do, which is to have the two people, if there's joint tenants, sign at the top. If it's a single signer, it's not a joint. It shouldn't be signed there.
Right.
If you don't have them signed, you're gonna get a call from the lender that says, you gotta go back to get it signed. It used to drive me nuts, and now they don't do that anymore. It's so exciting.
All right. Thank you very much. And gosh, I think I have 30 seconds. Jane, if you're on, I think you're gonna bring
Okay,
us home.
can you hear me? Yeah,
Yeah.
hi. Okay, Jane from California. Just real quick, I wondered, I did it, Carol got me through my first commercial loan. I got it like, they called me a 5 and I accepted it. And then I went, oh, it's commercial. But Carol got me through that. It was very easy. And I was like, where else, is there any resources where I can find more information? Or is there like a whole lot more to know? It doesn't seem like it's that much different. And I do have commercial escrow experience. So that's maybe why it was kind of easy for me. I'm not sure.
Carol?
So you're looking where to get more work or more to get
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I should have prefaced that with, yeah, that's all I want to do. I felt the same way when I worked commercial and escrow. First of all, like compared to the residential people, Carol, you know this.
I do. I know
Okay,
it very well.
there's no whining. There's no, they're very professional. They've done it a million times. It went like boom, boom, boom. I had like 3 people. I was done in 45 minutes and it's like 175. I'm like, okay, I'll do this because I'm already burnt out on residential signings. I'm like, we're underpaid. That sucks.
So you're looking for bulk sales, you know that term, bulk sales, gas stations, little markets, residential.
Yeah.
Well, I would say right now, especially, where are you located?
Oh, in like near Los Angeles. I'm in Lakewood, California.
Oh, okay. Well, there's a lot of building going on. Get it in touch with your builders. I mean, I used to work for what was called Watt Industries, which was the largest builder in California at that time. And yeah, I was processing. When I left the company, I had opened 300 escrows, which I handled every month myself.
Wow. Okay, I'll do that. So I just need to like Google and look up builders or whatever. That's what I need to do.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and try to even go to open houses.
Okay.
And that might lead you through realtors and open houses to the sales reps for the building companies.
Yeah, I just enjoy the experience so much more. And I know
So easy.
Yeah, it's
They're all
so
professional.
And they never ask questions and they're not worried about $300 or what, it's completely different.
And that reminds me, for those of you who are new, there's kind of a level, and I'd like to hear Laura on this one. What we found over the years is that lawyers never read anything. They just sign. Engineers, you're liable to be there for 6 hours because they want to read every single thing. But I had one incident, just to leave this, it was kind of sad in a way, but we went to this really nice man's house and he was Hispanic, very, very sweet gentleman. We sat down to start the signings and I gave him the grant deed and he said, oh, okay. And he was looking at reading it. I'm like, why is he reading the grant deed? I explained, what it was. And he had it upside down, bless his heart. You got to understand that people want to feel worthy and comfortable and intelligent and all of the things that we all like to feel about ourselves. And at that moment in time, my heart just went out to him because he wanted to show me that he knew what he was doing. So I'm gonna leave everybody on that.
All right. Okay, guys, it is already a few minutes after 1. Thanks for hanging out all the way to the end. If you want to save the chat, the 3 little buttons on the bottom, very right-hand corner, if you left click it, I believe, maybe it's right click it, but it's those 3 dots down at the bottom, then you can save the chat. Because there was a lot of links, a lot of good information down there. All right, next Tuesday, same bat time, same bat channel. Bill will be with us. Thanks for being with us today and have a great week. Thanks.
Bye, everybody. Oh,